How y'all doing? Welcome back to another Slippy-J Sunday. Alright, so this last week I had taken a look at this guy. This was the TS200. This is basically a unibody slip joint here from Rattlesnake and M390. And I'm going to be looking at another one again today. This is another unibody design, also by Rattlesnake. However, I might not have exactly the same amount of praise that I gave the other one for this guy here. This guy's got some issues that I would like to talk about. But before I get on to that, this guy is nice. Does have a bespoke titanium milled pocket clip. We do have some micro milling kind of going on the handles there. And this also kind of has a tumbled finish a little bit as well, which is interesting. It doesn't really necessarily add all that much in the way of grip, but hey, there you go. And we also have some, nice chamfering and swells and everything like that. So yeah, it's not just like a slab billet. They have really contoured this guy quite a bit. Now it does have a nice thumb ramp kind of up here that would kind of help you kind of get down in there and push through some cuts there. And let's see. It is just a little bit smaller than this guy here. The pull on him is a little bit different. Kind of reminds me of some slip joints from Ho Dong, which we will take a look at here on Slippy-J Sunday at some point in the near future. But this guy does have a couple of different things. As you can see, basically what they've done is, with this guy, they have titanium for the spring, kind of going back here, part of that body, with a little hardened steel insert on the end that actually interfaces with the knife. This one, they've essentially milled out all of this and just put in a steel piece here, and then did their best to kind of mill that up and everything. And they did a pretty good job there. However, this piece is a very, very weak spring, which doesn't really give me any confidence when I have my thumb there, because it's very, very easy for you to kick that, and it will get your finger if you're not careful. So this guy isn't exactly the most stable, and a lot of that has to do with the spring. Something I didn't probably mention on this last week, but it really didn't have that much effect on me, is the fact that there's no blade stop pin on these guys when they're closed. Yeah, you can see in there's nothing to really keep that stopped except for the spring. That means you can actually push the spring or push the blade in while you're there, and it can kind of lift that spring up a little bit. On this guy, very, very easy to do. Anytime you kind of put a little bit of pressure on there, it'll do that. And what that results in is, if you can hear this, blade wrap, which is kind of the unforgivable sin of slip joints here. And you can see, yeah, it basically will interface with that handle pretty darn easily just by squeezing it at very, very, very low amounts of pressure. So, yeah, that does kind of make me sad. The steel on this guy was actually quite nice. It is M390 as the other. And, yeah, this guy did take quite a bit of effort to actually put an edge on there. But, yeah, you're just going to have a problem with this little area here unless you absolutely baby your knife, because blade wrap happens. Luckily, because the spring is soft, it's generally not going to happen unless you absolutely slam the blade closed. Yeah, like it will free float enough on that spring that it doesn't really do that by closing it. But yeah, just doing a little squeeze there and getting some blade wrap. Kind of the unforgivable sin of slip joints, in my opinion. And I've certainly dealt with that in the past. Some of my first knives. I think I had like a Western and an Ontario, just some little wood-handled sort of slip joints or possibly even a lockback, but they had that same problem. And because of that, and the way that I, usually use the knife for scoring and doing stuff, I always thought that they were dull as hell. And that's kind of the reason there. So yeah, if you are looking for a unibody slip joint from TwoSun, this one is definitely the way to go. Your blade, you don't have that kind of harpoon-ish kind of shape. It is a little bit longer, but the handle is a little bit more accommodating for a couple of different grips. You get that, and the choke up there as well. A little less tall blade makes it just a little bit easier for, a lot of EDC tasks. And it's a clip point, so it's a little bit more traditional as far as that goes. Both of them do have that pocket clip, too. So, yeah, out of the two of them, this one is a much better design, in my opinion. Much stronger spring, and, yeah. But I'm not sad that I have this thing. It is kind of an interesting piece. But yes, it does have its flaws. So if you are looking for an absolute perfect immaculate knife that's wonderful in absolutely every way, that ain't it, Chief. All right. Well, as always, I appreciate y'all for watching, and I hope you have yourselves a wonderful rest of your day, yo. Subscribe.